two brothers, competitive from the start, each with unique talents, always chasing the next big challenge to outdo the other. But what if they join forces to build something meaningful? More than a dream, it was a shared vision to shape the future together.
So that was a shared vision that eventually then became Nuki. It was a reality, right? So Martin, how was it building a company with your brother?
Well, it feels really good, even 10 years later.
That's good.
Because there are lots of benefits when working with your brother. For me, definitely trust is really important. And then also complementary skills. I'm more on the business side of things. Jürgen is product and tech brain behind what we do. So you also need that trust to understand somebody from the other side of the spectrum. And I think that's really important and one of the key success factors in working together.
Were there any mistakes made along the way?
Yeah, of course. Shit happens. And it helps, of course, if you work together with someone whom you trust and whom you know for a very long time. Not everything goes always the right way, so it's okay to disagree on certain occasions if you clean the air later on. And this is what we did, and this is also a spirit we try to bring into the company. It's okay to fail, but let's move forward. Let's try to do better next time.
But how did Nuki start? What was the driving motivation or the idea behind it?
It's very straightforward because it just came from losing keys too often. And it's costly and annoying when they get lost. So for me, definitely lost them too often.
Okay. Did you lose your keys too?
No, but I hate to carry them around all the time. If you work in a large corporation, you have a badge or something else, but no piece of metal.
And it was pretty obvious that the smartphone is the digital device that every one of us is carrying. And we actually wanted to be at the forefront of that transition from physical keys to something digital. And that's what made Nuki.
Got in at the right time then. What happened next?
Well, we convinced ourselves, first of all. Yeah. Now that we were convinced, we convinced our wives and families. That was also quite relevant.
I would imagine that might have been even harder.
Yeah, that is quite a good check.
Okay, good.
And then we wanted to see if we can also, let's say, bring on that idea to the public. We took it to Kickstarter, wanted to get the most honest feedback, which you get by credit card details in the end. Noki was the most successful Kickstarter campaign in Europe at that time for a hardware product. And I think we jumped on a wave and we keep riding that wave since 10 years.
This is a picture from that Kickstarter campaign, right? But Jürgen, that's not you. Who's the guy in the picture?
That's Mark. Mark was our first employee working on Nuki. Yeah, Mark didn't age at all, completely different to everyone else on that picture. And yeah, it was, I think, the evening of the first day of the campaign. And there was lots of pressure because, you go out, we worked on it for a while and prepared it. And then was also big relief.
I also noticed in the back of that picture, it said Noki. So what I don't understand, how did that change from Noki to Nuki? Where did that go, Jürgen?
Yeah, it's actually a funny story because Kickstarter campaign was done with no key. So we wanted to get rid of the key and don't need a key anymore. We did our research on domain names and all of that. Then when we started out, about 2 weeks after the start of the campaign, we received a letter from a lawyer of Nokia. And obviously they were afraid of us being too close to their brand, which is the coolest thing that can happen.
That's a compliment, yeah.
If you go out with something new and you get accomplishment by such a big company. So we changed just one letter from Noki to Nuki. And that's why we still have it.
And nobody sued, right?
No, nobody sued. We changed early enough. And also today we don't want to go back.
So I have another picture I need you guys to take a look at here. Your hairdressers have changed since 10 years ago, which is good. What else has changed in the 10 years? I'm just curious with Nuki.
I think Nuki evolved really out of a single product company into a product portfolio with accessories, solutions for multi-party entrance, for new build homes and so on. We launched into the US market earlier this year. We launched the 5th product generation, which we've been working on for many years. And in total, now we're having 500,000 homes that are equipped with a Nuki smart lock. We have close to 1 million weekly active users. So there is so much that came out of this initial start, and I think it's really something magic.
Awesome. So I can't picture what it was back then, but how many people did you have on your team, Jürgen, when you guys first started?
Well, actually, in the beginning, it was just Mark and me. We made the first prototypes that we then fit on our own doors to see if the idea is worthwhile pursuing. Around the Kickstarter campaign, I think we were about 8 people, and now we're many more.
Yeah, now it's 130 people from 21 different nationalities, also reflecting the kind of footprint that we have geographically.
I know that part of, obviously, you've grown as a team, and part of that growth is you're incorporating new things into your team culture. Tell me about this picture here. You guys do volleyball in the office?
Every day, 3 hours.
Ah, nice.
No, just joking. We, of course, in the office we're working. That was just for a shot, probably. But we're into sports, so we do quite a lot of sports. We also compete there, which is part of our culture. Also at Nuki, try to bring ourselves or make ourselves better all the time, strive for more. And also with employees, we like to play. There is every year beach volleyball tournament where many of our employees participate, and I guess in the meantime play much better than I do.
I'm really curious too with regards to how that impacts the team. Martin, what do you see, putting this into the team culture? What are some of the differences that you notice about Nuki employees?
When we started out, we wanted to have the company, the culture where we feel well and where also others feel well. And one central element is this work hard, play hard attitude, which is also reflected in the volleyball, but also in how we do business. And also this, let's say, striving for excellence and really making an impact. Another thing that is also relevant for us is flexibility. And I think it's also required somehow to reach that level of excellence, that you are flexible also with your own resources. So that's the kind of impact we would like to create and culture that we would like to have. And I think we did a really good job on that over the past years.
Yeah. No, it sounds like it, definitely. And those obviously are all good things. I'm also curious about what were some of the challenges that you faced along the way? Because it couldn't have been smooth sailing the whole time.
For us, coming from a software-only background, the main challenge was definitely in getting the hardware right. We also knew any mistake in hardware is way more costly because you cannot correct for it immediately. So that was really our focus, and there have been plenty of challenges along the way, getting the first devices right, but then also chip crisis, COVID, whatever, plenty of nightmares that we went through.
What were some of the early prototypes? If you didn't have experience in hardware, how did you get to that point?
Yeah, that's maybe also an interesting aspect. Maybe it comes also from our sports background. We know where our boundaries are, and we typically try to search for help. We very early came together with a company called EOS in Vienna, and we do the design of all our products together with them. So the shape, the iconic Nuki shape and the LED ring and all of that is influenced and was developed together with them. And it's a very important element, not just of our brand, but also of the functionality of our products.
It sounds like there was a lot of time and effort and love put into the hardware, which is awesome. What is it then that is most important to you when it comes to manufacturing the product and actually getting it out there?
Well, it's product quality. Okay. So at Nuki, we are obsessed by customer satisfaction, and we're trying to be quality leader on the market. And if you want to be in that position and achieve that level, then you also need the right partners. And we found those partners in Europe. So we're really proud that we are not just designed in Europe. We are actually also one of the very few companies that can say we are also manufactured in Europe.
And Jürgen, how does this then play into security? I know that that's obviously a critical component for you as well.
Yeah, security has always been core competence that we want to see covered in our products. It's trying to keep everything local, having a very high benchmark on privacy, security audits and certifications wherever possible. That's always been quite relevant for us and the core thing we want to see covered in our product and the must-have.
When you mention core, core competence also the app now. I happen to know that the app is developed internally, but tell me a little bit more about that. How was it that you started to develop the app internally as well?
Yes, we have teams, not just for apps, also for firmware, server and backend stuff. That's all done internally by our teams. And we put a lot of focus on it. That means that we can not just create a good app, but a great experience around it. And that's also what's rated by consumers, because they rate the experience and not necessarily just the screen on the app. And that's where we really shine. We have the highest ratings of all smart lock apps out there. So it's really something we're proud of.
Nice. Congrats. It's good stuff. So highest rated, you're also then considered pretty much the fastest growing smart home brand in Europe as well right now, which is all impressive. I'm also very curious then, what does that mean for what's next?
Well, we just came out of a year with really lots of launches and new stuff. So launched the 5th generation with Smart Lock Pro and Ultra. Now launched into the US recently, which is big opportunity for us. We are planning to launch into the Nordics soon. And yeah, so a lot new markets and opportunities.
Anything on the product side that you could share? Any trade secrets?
Yeah, of course. We're working on using NFC, which is more or less a technology that is part of every modern smartphone, but there is now a new standard that allows us also to access it. This is a new product we want to bring to market. And then we have many more products that we're working on.
But we never talk about future product launches in advance. And we're also not going to do this for this occasion here.
So no trade secrets then shared. Okay, fine. Well, I guess, Martin, you're winning that competition on that one. Fine. Fair enough. I understand. Well, thank you for sharing what you did share. It's really, really cool to hear the story, to see the evolution of Nuki over the last 10 years. Can't wait to see what comes next.
Thank you.
Thanks.